Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Lennon, engineers report, please.
Okay, going through the monthly report, under the Village of Lawrence for the collection system contract. Now that we're coming up on spring, 70 degrees today, it's nice. We'll notify Rudzik, send them an updated punch list to get them out there to do the final restoration. I think they had one driveway, concrete driveway, I'm not sure if they finished that, so.
Is that the one down by Quarry Road?
Yeah,
Yeah, they did finish that up, I think, here, late in the fall.
okay, I knew they did half of it, I didn't know that
They did half of it, and I think they finished up, it may have been December or January that they
Okay.
did that, so that one's been completed.
So we'll be ready to process the final change order on that one, which is a large credit, and then work on a final pay request with them, pending completion of all their punch list items, which is mostly grass restoration, complaints, that type of thing. Under the wastewater plant contract, so work completed during the month. So during the low temperatures, the water did freeze in the tanks, the water they had stored just to keep the diffusers. They had some PVC pipe that cracked and stuff like that, so they had to go through, replace that, repair it, fix it, test it again. And once they did that, we were able to get the plant started. So right now, all sewage from Teodori is being pumped to the new plant. Teodori's offline, it's actually cleaned out. They're working on demolition now. We're working with operations on biological startup, had some hiccups here and there, but still working through that process, and also with the treatment vendors to make sure. We got some gremlins between different communications, a lot of computer software things that need to be updated, so working through that. And speaking of which, we did get Verizon installed internet service down at that plant and at Miller's Run, so now those plants talk to each other, so that the operators can see from Miller's Run what's going on, and they're gonna be updating Mike's computer at the office, and he'll be able to see the new Lawrence Plant 2 status, so. If you flip over to page 2, so demolition works underway at Teodori. They have a temporary bypass pump on site, so everything from the existing customers is already being pumped over. So they're working on that. We met with them today. Operations did give us a punch list. We went through that preliminary punch list. We're gonna update that on the Lawrence site, and they're still digging in on Teodori. We don't have a schedule. They were waiting on how long it was gonna take. There's a tank lining they need to put in the new wet well, and they're waiting on their subcontractor to tell us how long that's gonna take, and then they put a schedule together for how long it'll take to complete that site. So he did submit partial payment number 21, the amount of $301,582.84. So we do recommend approval of that by motion, and that's attached. And likewise, PennVest payment request number 2 in the amount of $328,869.95. We recommend approval by motion also, and that's on the agenda. Going down through under developments, Traditions of America. So we had a couple go back and forth with them on bonding. If you look at the gold attachment in the reports, that is attachment C. That's the updated letter from last week, where we did send a recommendation for the performance bond, which my understanding is they did post that, or they submitted that. So they're starting work on phases 6 and 7. They did mobilize late last week, early this week. They're waiting on materials to start, so they haven't started digging yet. We did have a pre-construction meeting with them on Friday. Silver Creek, they submitted that material substitution, which I know that with the Rules Committee we're discussing that. Flipping over to page 3, Mount Pleasant, Southview area. I need to schedule a follow-up meeting with them, so Mike and Ramel and I are talking potential dates we can meet with them and then get back with them, so.
We need to close on that one. It's been since August. We need a decision without, multiple more meetings
Okay.
on what direction we're gonna go there.
Okay. Clifford Road, we did issue a letter regarding that sewer extension request, and that's what we discussed at the last meeting. It's the, I guess that would be a salmon sheet, the pink sheet, section G, which outlines what the requirements would be for that. He would own and operate it until another customer would elect to connect. So we'd have to have all that formalized as part of an agreement, but we did lay that out for them in the letter, so they can submit detailed plans,
Okay.
notes work from there. The CCTV contract for this year, so I do have a key map, I'm gonna review that with Mike, and then next month we could talk about bidding the CCTV contract for this year, so. We got the we took the existing, old record drawings, digitized that into GIS, got a layout of just that area, we just did a portion, just for that area. And that was the, Fleer plan and then, Ridgewood, we did it down to the sewer plant there, so. Miller's Run, so we are working on the permit application for that project. So we did complete last month, we reported, we completed the survey and the base mapping. So right now we're working on the design and the permit applications. So we'll review that with Mike before the next meeting and have that submitted. Grants. So there is a grant application that is open. If you flip over to page 4, it's the 2025 Pennsylvania Small Water and Sewer Grant Program. It's open till April 30th. Mike and I discussed potentially filing an application for the Teodori Industrial Park lift station. Similar scope to what you submitted an application to Washington County LSA for Cherry Brook. Similar type project, submersible lift station, all original, needs updated type deal. So for next month, we'll send Mike and Rommel a resolution that has to be adopted at the next meeting to get it on the agenda, and you can file that grant application.
Would we have anything that qualifies for that watershed restoration one?
I think we
In the village
might,
hall?
next time you're out, Larry, we'll have to go over to the Cherry Brook Treatment Facility. Right there at the plant, there is a little bridge that crosses the stream. There's a double set of pipes that go underneath the road there. And when it does come down from Organza Road, from the state, from all their stormwater, if it's heavy enough, it will overflow and go into the plant door. So that might be something that we can look at for the stream bank restoration.
Okay.
And that might be erosion protection or something to
Yeah.
make it as a good project for what they would want to fund, so.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, question on the Silver Creek plan. I think we were waiting for, the Rules and Regulations Committee needs to have a recommendation. Will we have that for next month? Yes.
Yes, I talked with Joe Cassidy from Scormazzi Homes yesterday and told him that we did not have a chance to review all of that. So we will review it and have it on the agenda for the April meeting.
Okay.
I just wanted to double check and see if that was delaying anything. They're figuring late May, early June before they're gonna start construction, so that's plenty of time. And we can make sure that they submit the letter, again, just what they're requesting to make sure we have everything documented, so.
Okay, very good.
Can I ask a
Yeah,
question? On
please.
Clifford Road,
Mhm.
if I recall the first presentation, the owner would own the system as long as he was the one using it, but I think there was a statement made that if others tap into it,
Right.
it would become the property of CTM. Is that in your letter?
That's in my letter, yeah.
Is that how we're proceeding with that if others tie into that forced main, that we then own that system?
It would be dedicated at that time, yeah.
And is that what we want?
I don't know.
We
What
just
are the-
have it in there if it becomes it would have to be formalized as part of a developer's agreement. We didn't make any promises, but, yeah.
Do we own isolated systems like that anywhere else throughout the
Mike,
system?
you know?
I don't know if we own anything as far as that goes. Originally, how this started was it was just for him. So that had changed where at some point in time, if others would wanna use it, that it would become dedicated to us.
There are other lots there.
There
right?
are, I think there
On
are
that
intentions for
street.
others to tie into this, and then we're gonna own it.
Yeah, but you have to have a developer's agreement
Amen.
first, and that's outlined, I think, in the letter from, Lynn Smith.
And then he would have to make sure, as far as if he does this, he's gonna have to make sure if he's planning on tying other people in, that force main's gonna have to be sized appropriately, because if not, you know, he's only putting it in for himself. You don't want it to be too big, that it's oversized, and then if he puts it too small just for him, he's not gonna be able to dedicate it and use it for the future, so
I think your
that's.
letter indicates that it's big enough for the other 7, right?
Yes, conceptually, I mean, they'd have to do, when they submit their detailed survey, we'll get good elevations and lengths to confirm that, but yeah.
Yeah, I just don't wanna go too far down and understanding that that is sort of out there, that he has that expectation. And that we're
Yeah,
not-
and there's no precedent for it
Right,
right now.
but there will be, once we
Yeah.
do it going forward, so it's something to consider. I'm not against it, but I just wanna
Right.
make sure we understand it. And
Right.
and that we look at the overall understanding of the good of the whole system.
We need to make a motion to approve this in a future meeting? Yes, okay, so we
Right.
Don't let it get
bring
too
it to
far.
it, yeah,
All right, sorry, thank you.
yeah, thanks, Brad. Any other questions? Okay, do, I hear a motion regarding contract number 21, STP1, a Village of Lawrence sewage treatment plant. Motion to approve partial payment number 21 in the amount of $301,582.84.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers,
Aye.
Mr. Roach,
Aye.
Mrs. Barney,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve Penvest payment requisition number 22 in the amount of $328,869.95?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers,
Aye.
Mr. Roach,
Aye.
Mrs. Barney,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, Mr. Gannon, Solicitor's Report, please.
Thank you. To update a few things, you all have our written report, but as far as the Rules and Regulations Committee goes, schedules were not aligned this month, so we'll be meeting here shortly following the meeting to continue our progress on updating the rules and regs. In that vein, though, the township did pass our ordinance proposal at their March meeting, so our rules and regs changes that we made in regard to the Lawrence project have been adopted by the township via ordinance as well, so that continues to move forward. With the safety manual, same type of update, schedules were not aligned this month, and we'll be meeting here shortly following the meeting to continue progress towards the safety manual. One other thing to highlight is that the CHEA litigation continues to move forward, and I know that mediation dates are being circulated now, so we'll update further once that is scheduled. Other than that, any other questions, I'm happy to field them.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Business Manager's Report, Ms. Durg.
Okay, this month's packet included the financial reports for January 2025. Any questions? Okay, for board's approval, I did proceed with the renewal of CD 00-1301-3254 at an interest rate of 4.34% for 1 year. I received another CD renewal for CD 00-13010664. The new interest rate will not be available until around April 9th. I will then call into Slovenian and get the updated interest rate and then email all of you guys to let you know what it is and how you want me to proceed. Starting April 1st, we are able to start shutting off customers for non-pay of their sewage bill. We did send out a total of 229 notification letters at the beginning of March. Out of those, we ended up posting a total of 84 premises. And then just a reminder, I still have not received all of the 2024 statement of financial interest from everyone, so if you can get those back to me by May 1st. And if you need another form, let me know, I've brought some extra. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Authorities Manager's Report, you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This evening, I'll make it brief. Under old business, the only permit application that we're waiting to hear back from right now is Cherry Brook. So I'm just waiting to hear on that. LNS wastewater Monaco plant acquisition request. They've still not sent over the information I've requested, so there's no change on that. Item 3, PennDOT maintenance bond for Georgetown Road. I have not heard anything on that. The only thing that I've heard from PennDOT is it's time for the heavy user agreement to be renewed, so I'll renew that. But other than that, I haven't heard anything there. The Village of Lawrence Teodori treatment plant, that MPDS permit renewal was due on March 4th. Everything was done. I submitted that on the 3rd. We got notice that it's administratively complete, so now it's just in their hands to wait to see what happens there. The pickleball facility at 19 Mayview Road, we're still holding tap permit to address some questions. I did reach out to their engineer. He has not called me back, so there's no change on that at the present time. Item 6, the annual Chapter 94 waste load management reports. They're due by the 28th of this month for calendar year 2024. They're in the progress of being completed. I have this evening the authorization to be signed, so Madam Chair, you'll have to sign along with me. This way I won't have to bother you once they're completed.
Okay.
And then item 7, I reported that we had an issue with number 1 pump at Miller's Run Pump Station. There was a bad bearing, the pump was repaired. Also, the VFD was bad, so we ordered a new VFD and it was installed. Also, the cap and cable for the power cable was bad as well, or starting to go bad. That item was almost a $13,000 part. We were able to secure one from somebody that was scrapping a pump at no cost to us. So we saved $13,000 on that. That was put in. So basically everything is back up and running there. So we had some good news there. Under new business, I reported we had some issues with the control panel at Miller's Run Pump Station during the high flows. That has been resolved. We found out that the backup transducer had failed. That was causing the issue. So a new transducer and a spare was ordered. They were a total of $1684 for 2 transducers and the watertight connections for that. I feel more comfortable if we have one go down, I'd like to have one as a spare. So they were roughly around $842 each. So, but now we have a backup, and that should straighten everything out at that pump station for right now. I have a meeting tomorrow with the developer for the Cecil Town residential development off of Coomer Road to discuss the planning module and some other things. So once I discuss that, I'm sure there'll be some things. I'll forward that on to you, Larry, and I'll keep everybody posted on that. Item number 3, I met with Columbia Gas about their Legacy Cross-Core program. This is where they're going to televise sanitary and storm mains and laterals where they have pre-2008 plastic pipe located. This is no cost to the authority. So once they give me a list of the maps they want, I'll provide that to them. Contractor will provide a list of any problems that he finds on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis. If there's any repairs needed, we could either have our plumber do it or our contractor do it, or they will do it. All documentation will be given to us at the end of the project. The only problem is the videos that they're doing, they're not NASCO certified, so it's not a full-blown inspection where they would clean and everything and call out all the cracks. But it's a good way to get all of our lines televised that need, and get a good starting point, because we can review this video and say, okay, we need to focus in this area or focus in that area. So it's a good start. And then item 4, I did not put on this evening. I wanted to let everyone know that I finally got through the process with the EPA grant from Senator Casey's office. That is $1 million grant. I have to go into the RD3 website tomorrow to do the final signatures and different things like that, and then we can start drawing that $1 million down towards the Lawrence project. That's all I have for this evening. If there are any questions, I will entertain them.
All good? All right. So we need to hear a motion to authorize signing the 2024 annual waste load management reports for submission to Pennsylvania DEP.
I'll make that motion.
Give a second.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote.
Mrs. Barnes?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers?
Aye.
Mr. Roach?
Aye.
Mrs. Barney?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Okay, we talked about this previously, in prior meetings. We need a motion to approve payment for repairs to the Y connection and main line at 38 Meadowcrest Drive, not to exceed $6,320.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Roll call vote.
Mrs. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers,
Aye.
Mr. Roach,
Aye.
Mrs. Barney,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Okay, are there any correspondence to review?
No.
Okay. I don't think we have any committee reports today. We're waiting on a couple of items for the next month. Nothing going on now unless I'm incorrect. Think we're all good there? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve payment of expenses and transfer of funds for expenses, invoices, employee payroll, and taxes?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Barnes,
Aye.
Mrs. Rogers,
Aye.
Mr. Roach,
Aye.
Mrs. Barney,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda, comments from the floor. Does anybody have anything? Come on up. I believe our microphone is working. No? Okay, just have
I
it.
can project.
You can, okay.
My name is Debbie Tabusi. I live at 450 Georgetown Road. So it's the sewer authority. We were wondering when we might be expecting the letters about tying in.
Basically, we're working through the gremlins at the plant, so I'm probably thinking sometime in April, we should start to see letters going out. We're finishing the drafts for the letters and finalizing some of the tap inspects, so it just all depends on how well the plant goes.
Okay, so the specs might change?
No, it's just to get out to everybody what's required of them. It's an FAQ sheet saying your gray water has to be tied in, what we want to see with the septic tanks, what you need to do for tie-in, the inspector, how to apply for everything. It's an FAQ sheet to go with the application and the specs.
Okay, I just thought, from what we're seeing posted online in the neighborhood, it was just the stuff that was online already. So we were going off of that for the plumber to say, okay, this is what the application is, this is the
There's
sheet.
too many rumors floating around out there.
Oh, no, it's on your website. No, that's what we're
What I'm
going.
saying is, there's what's on there, but there's going to be more information coming as it goes out. That's just that was a preliminary, just to give everybody an idea.
But that's what we're gonna have to give to the plumber, is what you're gonna be sending out in April then, since we're not doing the work ourselves.
Right.
So we have to wait till that point. Okay,
No,
'cause
the spec that is online, on our sheet with the application, that is the spec
okay,
that everybody's going to use. But what's going to happen is when the letter goes out, there will be an application, there will be a spec in there. There will be an FAQ sheet of everything that is expected of everybody.
So that's a complete packet, but
A
right now,
complete
we're okay
packet.
with what we
Correct.
had online.
Correct.
But, okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else? Okay,
Roseanne, I have something. There was a public notice in the Observer Reporter on March 9th. And being that summertime's coming, there was, portable meters are available for short-term loan from this Peters Creek Sanitary Authority, to be used for measuring water usage for filling pools. And it doesn't go through the system. Do we have anything like that?
What we have, Darlene, is we have the deduct meters throughout the system. We don't have anything portable that we loan out. What they have is a deduct meter. If somebody, I think in the past, if they call in and say they're gonna fill a pool, and we can come out and read their regular meter prior to the pool filling, and then immediately after they call us back, we can go out, they can get a credit. But mostly everybody, they either have the deduct meters for watering their lawns, for their pools. I'm just not quite sure how that would work with a portable meter unless they're putting it on the hose bib or something like that, to see what went through. That would be the only thing I could think of there, so.
but we do have a process already for having and obtaining a deduct meter, or if you just wanna fill your swimming pool.
Right, okay, so, cause in the paper, it says there's a $15 non-refundable calendar year fee and a required deposit of $50. So evidently, they give them for $15 fee, but if they don't return it, there's 50.
So they could be renting out like the Badger
It could be, what I'm probably thinking it is it's probably a real small tight meter that goes on the end of a hose bib. Like I said, I've never seen one, I'm sure they probably make something like that for, you know, monitoring something, you know, for whatever. We've never done it, you know, until I got here, I never did anything with deduct meters, it was always, there was no exception. So, it's something that's there, so. But it's the expense of buying the meters. How many meters do you buy? What's the cost for the meters? What's your return on your investment? But I'm gonna make a note of that and just look for fun to see what that is.
You want
and get
this
some more-
right up?
If you have it, I'll take it.
Sure, I'll give it to you.
All right.
Okay, good. Anything else?
I don't think.
All right, we do not have a need for executive session this evening, right? So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.